I'm sure you've heard of test-driven development, where you write the tests first and then you code until those tests pass. That process is really cool, but we're talking about behavior-driven development, or BDD. This is the idea that you're going to write down the behavior of your application first and then develop it. This might sound pretty obvious to you. Why would I code without thinking about what I'm going to code? But that actually happens pretty often. BHAT and BDD are going to give us a very specific path to follow so that we think first and then we code. We do this to maximize business value. There are two types of BDD, story and spec. Without getting too far into the details of each, story BDD is done with BHAT and usually ends up with functional tests. Spec BDD is handled by another wonderful tool called PHP Spec. And this ends up focusing on unit testing, how you actually design your classes and functions. They're both cool, and in a perfect world, you'll use both. Okay, 1 minute of theory. With BDD, we break down our development process into 4 steps. First, define the business value of all of the big features. Second, prioritize those so you work on the ones with the highest business value first. Third, take one feature and break it down into all of the different user stories or scenarios. And then after you've done that, you finally do 4, write the code for the feature, since now you know how you want it to behave. To do all this, BHAT uses a language called Gherkin. This isn't special to BHAT or PHP. It also exists in Ruby, Java, and every other programming world out there, which is a good thing. Our application is already partially built, but let's pretend that it isn't, and we're just in the planning stages. First, we know we'll need an authentication feature. So let's go to the features directory and create a new authentication.feature file. Each feature will have its own file in here. We always start with the same header, feature, and a short description of it. Here, I'll just say authentication. The next 3 lines are very important. Our next line is always in order to, followed by the business value. In the case of the Raptor store, since you need to log in to see the product area, I would say that the business value is to gain access to the management area. Next is as a, and you say who is going to benefit from this feature. In our case, it would be an admin user. And the third line is I need to be able to, followed by a short description of what the user would actually be able to do with the feature. In our store, that is log in and log out. The most important parts of the first 2 lines, the business value and the user or role that's going to benefit from this value. If either of these are difficult to define, then maybe your feature isn't so valuable, or maybe no one is benefiting from it. Perhaps move on to a different task. Back in the Raptor store, log in with admin, and check out the product admin area. Let's describe this. Back into the features directory and create a new product_admin.feature file. And we'll start the same as we always do. Feature, product admin area. In order to, so why do we care about having a product admin area? It's not just so we can go click links and fill out boxes. Nobody cares about that. The true reason to go in there is to control the products on the front end. So let's just say that. In order to maintain the products shown on the site. As an admin user, I need to be able to add, edit, and delete products. Okay, that looks good. What else do we have? Check out the Fence Security Activated message on the site. Let's imagine we need to create an API where someone can make an API request to turn the fence security on or off from anywhere. Like if you're running from dinosaurs somewhere, you might want to be able to pull out your iPhone and turn the fences back on. We'll need another feature file called fence_API.feature. Start with feature remote control fence API. The business value is pretty clear. In order to control fence security from anywhere. The user that benefits from this isn't some browser using admin user. It's a more advanced API user. As an API user, I need to be able to post JSON instructions to turn the fence on or off. I feel safer already. There's a common pitfall, and it looks like this. Notice the in order to and the I need to be able to lines are basically the same. This is a sign of a bad business value. Being able to add, edit, or delete products is not a business value. People don't go into the product admin area just for the delight of using your interface of adding, editing, and deleting products. They go into the admin area because that allows them to control the products that are rendered on the front end. This is subtle but really important because when we build the admin area, it will focus our efforts. We know that we're building this just as a tool so that you can control things on the front end. Which sadly for the developer means we maybe don't need that crazy drag and drop interface for adding videos from YouTube. Our admin user, who we're building this feature for, doesn't care about using it, and it might be too technical for them anyways. So focus on your business value and keep the feature at the technical level of who you're building it for.